Hi, my name is Eric Swaste. I'm here to give a presentation for complementary colors. So if we go over just general complementary color schemes, you can see that on the color wheel, colors that face directly across from each other attract a contrast in a certain piece. Using primary colors or combining it with a tertiary color can be eye-catching. If we look at different spots in pop culture in which we see that the use of these colors, you can look at sports teams such as the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have a blue and orange color scheme, or even something like the Lakers, who have a purple and yellow color scheme. A lot of sports teams think about these, the way how color sits next to each other and how it's settling to the eye, but also how it attracts and feels like it has purpose. If we also look at some other examples, we look at holidays, we think of Christmas or Halloween. Christmas uses a red and green color scheme, and just with those colors alone, you can already imagine just a general Christmas idea or theme of Christmas. That color pattern is already very unique in that it represents Christmas, but also because it's so recognizable, it's become an icon of its own. But this also applies to other items on the color wheel. If we look also at something like yellow and purple again, you could also look at Halloween or something like that, or Easter if we look at blue and orange again. If we look at how complementary colors are applied in fashion, we can see that in this example we see purple and yellow, which is a light tint yellow, but it still works really well. And then also a light blue with a bright orange, which pop out really well, but also complement each other. I know a lot of sports teams also use that color scheme, such as the London Spitfire. If we see how fashion uses color schemes, it really helps try to achieve a goal of, ideally, you're trying to sell property or merchandise. So you want to create something that is appealing to the eye. And when you can create a color scheme that looks really well together and sits well together, generally people will be able to want to buy something like that. And it just brings attention to that item or set of items. Something that's very similar but not quite is split complementary, where we look at colors on the color wheel that are not directly from each other, but just a little bit to the southwest or southeast of the color wheel. So we look at red and we get like a turquoise and a light green, or a yellow, a purple, and a lighter purple with red mixed in. A lot of these colors are used to mix to gain a different look that's not the same as complementary color, at least direct. When using split complementary, you achieve a more softer look. You're able to, but you're also still able to get these bright colors that get people's attention. So if we look at some examples, we can look at Nickelodeon, how they use blue and orange behind their logos, and by doing so, it catches the eye. I know Nickelodeon also will mix this with green. If they use a commercial, they'll use a splash of their goo, and the green will pop out on the screen as well. So when you mix the orange, blue, and green, you can notice that like the commercials are used that to get kids' attention, but also it works really well. Those kinds of colors will pop out on a TV and they'll stick out. You can also see this around other kind of networks, whether it's just the logo or how they present themselves, whether it's usually kid-centered network TVs like Cartoon Network or Disney Channel. They'll use these types of color schemes to gather people's attention. If we also look at some applications using split complementary color, bedroom design or even office design, or if you're just generally building design, whether it's a coffee restaurant or a coffee shop or a restaurant, you'll see a lot of different places use softer colors, but still remaining using colors that are still vibrant. So they use split complementary colors instead of the direct complementary colors. Um, so things, if you're trying to get a softer look for like a spa, you would use a turquoise and a yellow cream, and using those colors kind of bring relaxation already to the customer. You don't want to use something bright like red and green for that, because you wouldn't feel relaxed. And certain set of colors put together will kind of trick the mind into being in a relaxing mode. And when you can know which colors go well together, it's really useful for design if you're trying to create a setting for a certain set of people to feel comfortable. These are my sources for fashion and the logos and the colors used in holidays. I think generally, in my opinion, split complementary colors and just direct complementary colors are very useful in life. Whether it helps you out with just designing your own clothes, or how if you're setting up a business or creating a website, generally understanding how color is used will help create a unique piece to what you're trying to accomplish. I think there's no going wrong as long as you're giving it a solid attempt. But with that, thank you for listening.